Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you guys are new here, my name is Crystal Ann, and today I have partnered with Cricut to talk about smart materials. So I'm going to answer your questions about what is smart materials and how do I use them. So let's go ahead and dive right in. When it comes to Cricut Smart Materials, there is a wide variety to choose from Cricut Adhesive Vinyl to Cricut's Iron-On, as well as Cricut Sticker Paper Cardstock. So what is Smart Materials? Smart Materials are able to be fed through our Cricut machines without a mat. So they have designed these are about 13 inches wide, and then you're able to cut them. Say for example that you need 13 by 5 inches, you're able to just feed that through your Cricut machine without using a mat. Now you can also use a Cricut roll holder that you could purchase separately. That looks like this. So all you have to do is load your materials right here. You're going to feed it right through here, and then it's going to be able to load right into your machine. Once again, without using a mat, you can keep it on the roll. Once you're done cutting it out, you can use the installed paper trimmer to cut it out. So let me go ahead and show you how we're going to use them. Jumping right inside of Cricut Design Space, you're going to go ahead and bring in an image. I found this right inside of images right here. I just typed in Christmas until I found one that I liked. So we're going to go ahead and size this out first. So I'm just going to come right up here to our width. I've made sure that everything is selected. And I'm going to go ahead and type in 9 inches and enter. So here's our super cute design. We are ready to go. Now what I want to do is I'm actually going to cut these two greens the same color. So I'm simply going to select my H right over here and choose this same green. Now that I have both of these greens the same color, they're going to be able to cut out on the exact same materials. So I don't want to weld them together because we have a layer going on in between here. So what we're going to go ahead and do is click Make It. From here, it's going to ask you if you want to cut without the mat, on the mat, or multiple ways. So if you're using one of the newer Cricut machines, you're going to be able to see this screen. So I'm going to choose without the mat and hit done. From here, it's going to tell you how much material you need to cut of each color. So for example, this one here, we need the 13, which is already to that size, by 7 to be able to feed it right through the machine. Our green layer, we're going to need 13 by 8, and our pink layer is going to be 13 by 8. Now feel free to adjust this, so if I want to use actually a 13 by 9 piece of material, I could go ahead and tell it to do so. I'm going to go ahead and swap this back. Now I'm going to show you guys using this by cutting it down to size as well as using the roll holder. So we are using the Smart Materials Iron-On, so I want to make sure I mirror all of these here. So we're going to go ahead and do that like so. Now also from this screen, if you decided you didn't want to use the Smart Materials and you wanted to use a mat, you can change that right here. So you can still do that right inside of the screen. All right, so we've got everything ready to go. I'm going to make sure that I did mirror everything. Looks good. We're going to hit continue. From here, you can see that it shows our machine, and we're going to start to set our materials. So to find your Smart Materials, if they're not popping right up here in your favorites or the popular tab, you could definitely come over to Browse Materials and just start to type out Smart and enter. From here, you're going to see all of your options. So I'm going to go ahead and choose Smart Iron-On. I'm going to click Done. From here, it's going to tell us to go ahead and load our Smart Iron-On. What I'm going to do, since all of these are the same material, I'm going to click this box right here so that way it doesn't ask me for each one. So let's go ahead and load it. As you guys can see here, we already have our flashing. We're ready to go. So we're going to go ahead and trim these down to size. So our very first color, I need 7 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and load it into my paper trimmer here and cut down 7 inches. So we know it's already 13 inches wide. So I'm going to take it down to about 7 inches here and cut. Once you have it cut down to size, what we're going to do is you see the glossy side here. This is going to go face down just like it normally would on your mat. So what we're going to do is we're going to load it right underneath these 2 white feet right here. So I'm just going to gently hold it and I'm going to hit the arrow in. So what's going to happen now is your Cricut's going to bring it all the way through just to make sure that you have enough material before it gets started. So if you guys notice on your Cricut machine, there's a little sensor down here that's going to read your material to make sure you have the proper material and the perfect size. All right, so you can see we're ready to go. We're going to hit go. From here, our Cricut's getting ready to go, and it's going to go ahead and start cutting it out. So as you guys can see, with the Cricut Smart Materials, you don't need a mat. So this is going to help you eliminate those steps to be able to just load it in. What this is also going to do is you're going to be able to cut super long lengths. So say, for example, I was making multiple t-shirts. I was making 20 t-shirts back to back. I could cut all of those on one long strip and then cut them down to size. And as you guys can see how fast that was, we're going to click the unload button. And as you guys can see, it cut it out. So let's go ahead and load our next color. For our next color, we're going to repeat that same process. We're going to go ahead and load it right underneath the white feet. I'm going to hold it, hit the arrow in. It's going to bring it in, and it's going to cut out the next layer. While our Cricut is cutting that out, I'm going to go ahead and trim this down. So I'm going to hit the go button, and I'm going to go ahead and weed this piece out. So this is super easy to weed. It works just the same as if you were using regular Cricut iron-on. So I'm going to go ahead and peel. And just like that, we've already weeded our first layer and we're ready to unload this one. For our last layer, I'm going to use the Cricut roll holder. So you're going to notice these little spots right here under the feet, and you also notice those on your door here in your Cricut. So all you're going to do is line those up just like so, and it is ready to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push this all the way through, glide it right underneath those white feet. And what this is going to allow it just to stay on the roll so we could trim it after the fact. All right, so we're ready to go. We're going to hit that load button. So as you guys can see, it's going to go ahead and pull it through the machine in the exact same way, but what it's doing here is it's keeping it on the roll for us. So that way it's saving us an extra step. So now we're ready to go. I'm going to hit go and let it cut it out. So the same thing, I'm going to go ahead and get started and weed out our next layer. All right, so we've weeded out our next color, and this is done. So what we're going to do before we unload it, it's just got to stop for us enough room so we can run our little trimmer here. And then all you're going to do is simply pick this up and remove it out of the way. And now we're ready to hit the unload button. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and weed out our last color here, and we're going to get ready to make our project. Now that we have all of our pieces cut out and weeded, we are ready to go. So I'm using my bigger Cricut Easy Press today, and I already have it set at 315 for 30 seconds. So we are using Smart Iron-On here, and we have 3 layers. I've got my t-shirt as well as my Cricut pad that I'll be using today. So I'm going to go ahead and line my t-shirt up, and we want to start by pulling out the moisture. So you just want to do this for around 5 seconds or so. Basically what you're going to do is you're pulling out the moisture and you're just smoothing everything out. So we're just going to go ahead and rub right across here. And we're going to go ahead and drop down that first layer. So let me get my first color here. So our first color is going to be this pink here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it in half so we can find the center, get a little crease mark here, and we're going to come down. You can follow that neck tag right up here at the top, and then we're going to come down around 3 fingers or so. So I'm just going to go ahead and line this up just like so, and we are ready to press. So I'm going to go with my press right on top and hit go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do about half of the time. So I'll probably do around 15 seconds or so because we're doing multiple layers. So this is called a tack down layer. So for the tack down layer, it's not ready to go. This is just so we can layer more on top without overheating. So we're going to go ahead and move that. Before I peel this, I'm going to go ahead and let it cool down just a little bit. So I like to peel my Cricut iron-on around a warm to cold pill. So we're going to go ahead and let it just cool down a little bit, and we're going to peel this and layer our next color. All right, so I think we're ready to go. I'm going to get me a corner here and peel. So if you notice that your iron-on is starting to come up with you, you just need to let it cool down a little bit more. You don't need to apply more heat. It just needs a little bit more time to cool. All right, so we have our first color down. Let's go in with the next. So the next one is our green, but we have 2 pieces here. So what we're doing is the H first because we have this overlap going on here with the red. So I need to get this green piece first. So I'm going to line it up right on top of this pink one here. Right, just like so. And I was hoping maybe I could lay that down at the same time, but I don't think so. All right, so what we're going to do is I'm going to take that very first piece that covered the main one, and I'm going to apply that back on here. This is going to protect your iron as well as your material. So I'm going to go back on here and press the H for another 15 seconds. All right, stop that. Once again, I'm going to let that cool down just a little bit before I peel it. So what I'll do is I'm actually going to remove what's my cover sheet for the pink layer. That way that green can cool down. Another way to cool it down quicker is if you're working on a granite countertop, you can definitely just lay it on top of that granite and it'll help speed that process up a little bit. So we are ready to peel it. So I'm going to flip it back over and peel at an angle, just like so. All right, so we are ready for another layer here, which we're going to go right into this red layer now. So we're going to go right on top, and then we're going to come back in with that main cover sheet. You can also use a piece of parchment paper. So I'm going to go right back on top and hit go. So I'm going to press it again for another 10 to 15 seconds. All right, we're going to stop that. Once again, we're going to let it cool down. I'm going to peel off that main carrier sheet to help cool it down a little bit quicker. Once again, I can quickly get this on another area of my granite countertop and speed that process up much faster. All right, so let's go ahead and peel this layer. And now we're going to work on our very last layer here. So we've got our last piece of green. So I'm going to go right on top of that other layer of pink here. All right, just like so. Make sure I'm lined up on my Cricut pad underneath. And then I'm going to take that same cover sheet once again, one last time, and this time we're going to press it for the full 30 seconds. So I've got it 3:15 for 30 seconds. We're going to press it the full time now. Once we're done with this, we're going to flip the t-shirt over and we're going to press it for another 15 seconds. All right, so we're going to go ahead and move this out of our way. We're going to peel off that cover sheet. I'm going to flip this over one last time on my countertop to quickly speed up the process. You definitely don't have to do this. This is just going to make it much faster. So I'm just going to go ahead and flip it over. And now we're going to go ahead and peel. So let me go ahead and get a corner here and peel. Just like that. And look at how cute this is coming out. I love this color combo, super cute. And as you guys can see, we made this t-shirt without using any mats. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and move that. I'm gonna get this out of our way here. And there you guys have it, our finished project. So we've designed a super cute t-shirt using 3 layers of iron-on. So this is the Smart Cricut iron-on. And as you guys can see, by eliminating our Cricut mat, we were able to do this much faster. So instead of having to, load and unload those mats, we were able to just load it right inside of the machine. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, please hit the like button down below and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.